Hello and welcome to Part 2. In Chapter 2, Religion as Evolution, or Evolution as Religion. Webster defines religion as a belief in a divine or superhuman power or powers to be obeyed and worshipped as the creator of the universe. What created the universe? Was it blind chance, evolution? If so, then blind chance is their creator and they worship chance. Time and matter become the gods of the evolutionist. If you begin taking away time from the evolutionist by saying that the earth is young, that is like taking a pacifier out of a baby's mouth. If Webster's definition of religion is correct, then evolution is definitely a part of religion, not science. I taught science for many years, and I am not against real science. However, we have entered into the realm of religion when we begin saying that the earth came into being out of nothing. There is a wealth of information on the subject. Let me share what a few evolutionists have said about evolution. Sir Arthur Keith, an avid evolutionist, said, quote, "Evolution is unproved and unprovable. We believe it is only because alternative is special creation, and that is unthinkable." End quote. This reveals quite a bit about the evolutionists. They believe it only because they do not like the option of special creation. L.H. Matthews, the evolutionist who wrote the preface to the 1971 edition of Darwin's book, said, quote, "Belief in the theory of evolution was exactly parallel to the belief in special creation, with evolution merely a satisfactory faith on which to base our interpretation of nature." End quote. Evolution is a faith, a religion. Pierre Grasse, the French biologist, said, "Scientists should destroy the myth of evolution." L.H. Lipscomb, the British physicist, said, "In fact, evolution in a sense became a scientific religion. Almost all scientists have accepted it, and many are prepared to bend their observations to fit in with it." Evolution, without a question, is a religion. It is a religion of humanism. Either man is the ultimate king of the world, or God is the ultimate king of the world. Humanism is the religion of man being the ultimate. Humanist Manifesto 1 says, quote, "Humanism is a philosophical, religious, and moral point of view as old as human civilization itself." End quote. They admit right up front that it is religious. They go on to say, quote, "In 1933, a group of 34 liberal humanists enunciated the philosophical and religious principles that seemed to them fundamental. They drafted Humanist Manifesto 1, which for its time was a radical document. This document was concerned with expressing a general religious and philosophical outlook that rejected orthodox and dogmatic positions and provided meaning and direction, unity and purpose to human life. It was committed to reason, science, and democracy." End quote. It goes on to say that, quote, "If no deity will save us, we must save ourselves." End quote. Humanism, without question, is religious. Humanists admit to this fact. Here are a few different statements from Humanist Manifesto 1 and 2 that further illustrate the religious nature of evolutionism. The numbers correspond to the actual statement number from Humanist Manifesto 1 and 2 by Prometheus Books, edited by Paul Kurtz. The first statement is, quote, "Religious humanists regard the universe as self-existing, not created." End quote. They are calling themselves, quote, "religious humanists." End quote. Humanism is a religion. Here in the foundational document of humanism, we see that they regard the universe as self-existing and not created. In other words, they believe in evolution. Matter has always been here and the earth created itself. The second statement is, quote, "Humanism believes that man is a part of nature and that he has emerged as a result of continuous process." End quote. Again referring plainly to evolution. It could be easily proven that the foundation of humanism is evolution and humanism is a religion. Therefore, the teaching of evolution in the tax-supported public school system is the fostering and furthering of a religion. The only religion being promoted at the taxpayer's expense is the religion of humanism. We need to put a stop to that. The third statement of the Humanist Manifesto says, quote, "Holding an organic view of life, humanists find that traditional dualism of mind and body must be rejected." End quote. With the phrase, quote, "an organic view of life," end quote, they are saying that evolution is the way we got here. The fourth statement says, quote, "We are products of a gradual development." end quote. Quote-unquote gradual development again refers to evolution. The 8th statement of the Humanist Manifesto says, quote, religious humanism considers the complete realization of a human personality to be the end of man's life and seeks its development and fulfillment in the here and now, end quote. Again, they refer to their philosophy as religious humanism. The 9th statement says, quote, in place of the old attitudes involved in worship and prayer, the humanist finds his emotions expressed in a heightened sense of personal life in a cooperative effort to promote social well-being, end quote. The 12th statement says, quote, religious humanists aim to foster the creative in man and encourage achievements that add to the satisfactions of life, end quote. The 13th statement begins, quote, religious humanism maintains that all associations and institutions exist for the fulfillment of human life, end quote. The last paragraph of Humanist Manifesto 1 says, quote, so stand the theses of religious humanism, end quote. That is the gist of the Humanist Manifesto. We go on now to the Humanist Manifesto 2, written by Paul Kurtz and Edwin Wilson. It says, quote, salvationism still appears as harmful, end quote. Read this carefully. The idea here is to teach people that Christians are the enemy and that we are standing in the way of progress. I believe we as Christians need to be aware of this message. Most of the programs on television are examples of Hollywood's definite desire to discredit Christianity. You will not see a preacher portrayed as a God-fearing man. You will see him portrayed as a wild-eyed fanatic killing people or stealing money from the church or some evil deed. You will never see the truth in Hollywood movies about Christianity. There is a deliberate war being waged against religion in general and Christianity in particular. Other religions, such as Hinduism and Buddhism, are taught as being okay, even in the public schools. But the idea of bringing Christianity is utterly despised. The Humanist Manifesto 2 goes on to say, quote, any account of nature should pass the test of scientific evidence. In our judgment, the dogmas and myths of traditional religion do not do so, end quote. If they really mean that, quote, the account of nature should pass the test of scientific evidence, end quote, they should examine and see if evolution will pass the test of scientific evidence. In order for something to be scientific, it has to be observable. Anything outside of the realm of observation is not scientific. For something to be scientific, it must be testable. There is no observation to back up evolution, and no test is devised to demonstrate it. If evolution occurred in the past, it should have been preserved for us in the fossil record. We have trillions of fossils, yet we have absolutely no evidence of evolution occurring in the past. There is nothing going on in the present that gives evidence of evolution. Would we continue Mr. Stephen Jay Gould and his words on evolution?